just tapped into the sound system. There's no hits. Nowhere.
What is that? I really don't see anybody actually injured.
So we know Stephen Paddock, 64 years old at the time, was financially successful. He was a high-stakes gambler. I know that. I think last time, what did I say? A high-stakes poker player or something? I don't know what I called it.
Very different. But...
He had two brothers, but apparently I just found out he actually has three brothers. I didn't look into the third brother, though.
I think he had two that talked. I think they were two that got interviewed, but there was apparently three.
Right. I didn't even know. I didn't hear nothing about a third brother. All I heard was the two, but I guess it's because the two were, like you said, the only one that spoke or like talked.
Yeah, they gave interviews.
Yeah. Which, oh my gosh, one of the brothers' interviews is so funny to watch, in my opinion. And it's so funny to look at the comments in that time.
Got threatened with child stuff. They apparently found hard drives full of like pictures of kids and stuff like that.
Oh gosh.
And it was one of the brothers that was basically saying that I guess there's no way he could have done it. He didn't believe it. That didn't seem like him.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden that guy's getting charged with
the CP.
Yeah. Ooh. All of a sudden he has hard drives full of it. Later,
all of a sudden. Okay, so now that you said that, now I think it is him. Two brothers, mystery third brother. We don't know what happened to him. But and then something that they kept talking about a lot on social media and in the news is the fact that his father was on the FBI most wanted list in like the 60s and 70s. And they're like, oh, look at his dad. And then look at him. And they're like, trying to say like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, now does it? But next, he had a girlfriend, MariLou Danley, who I feel like a lot of people kind of like brush past her. I think she's giving suspicious character, but we'll talk about that later. But I feel like she's definitely was giving like weird energy because I'm just like, but they lived together in Nevada, Mesquite, Nevada. They had a house together. And she's from the Philippines. Well, actually, she's from Australia, actually. She's just Filipino, and she has family in the Philippines, but she's actually from Australia. But him and her, they visited the Philippines one time. There's a picture of them. That's her right there with the claw clip in the back and the purple shirt, like the purple halter top. And
that's him right there.
Yeah, that's him right there. So like I said, he lived in Nevada, and he actually went to Mandalay Bay quite often. So some speculations about Paddock, which cannot be 100% confirmed, but people mentioned it. I can't confirm it. I have no idea where people got these like speculations from, but apparently people are saying that he worked for the CIA, and he was like undercover at the time during the shooting. I have no idea where people got that from. I think they probably connected it to the fact that he worked at Lockheed.
Well, that probably has to do with him running guns, because the only people that do that generally work for an agency.
True. Which
maybe not with them, but you're known. You're not.
Right.
It's not like he's just a random guy and he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna run guns to Arabs, or I'm gonna run guns in the Middle East. You're not allowed to do that.
True.
You get put into a database every time you buy a gun. So like, how did he get
really?
all of those guns? Yeah. If you buy, I think it's 3 guns, or you buy so many guns in a certain period of time, it flags at the ATF. So then you start getting watched. The FBI being told to stop investigating, obviously weird, but
right.
The one thing I thought was really interesting was this section about the military and aerospace aviation technology.
Mhm.
It's mostly just photo because I've never seen this before. This whatever this site is, but
Hmm.
the metadata from this photo apparently is at the Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, which is the CIA base.
Oh my gosh.
So I'd never heard anyone really talk about that, but kind of has like an Epstein thing going on where he's got, like they say that he's got multiple houses around the country, but he doesn't really live in any of them.
Oh, Steven or his brother?
Yeah,
Oh. Oh yes, that's true
because
too. Well, I mean,
he had one in Nevada, he had one in Texas.
mhm.
They're from Iowa, so they're supposedly had another house there. And then he's got
Mhm.
a girlfriend from Australia with family in the Philippines. So he's kind of like it's kind of seeming like he's kind of all over the place.
So now we get into like what really happened. Well, what we were told happened. So, as we all know, on October 1st, 2017, the Route 91 Music Festival was going down, and as soon as I think his name is Jason Aldean, he's also was giving me weird vibes too. Not gonna lie, Jason Aldean, because he was at the TPUSA Amfest thing.
He's got
So
if you look into him, there's like a whole conspiracy rabbit hole tied to him.
yeah. Oh, see, I knew I was onto something. I thought I was tripping at first. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know, but it definitely was weird. See, see, there is something strange about him. My instincts were correct. Anyway, so he's performing. He's in the middle of performing, and then around like 10:05 ish, somewhere around there, shot starts going off into the crowd. And the story is that Stephen Paddock loaded up his hotel room with a bunch of weapons and stuff hidden in suitcases. And they said that he set up a little camera on the food cart thingy outside his door so he can like watch people or anyone that tries to come near his door, whatever. And this is all part of his like sinister plan. And yeah, and then he broke the window on the 32nd floor. I think it was his room 32 135. I think that's his room, or was his room. That room no longer exists anymore, but that was a room. And he broke the window and then just started at the crowd, just started firing off at the crowd. And then they tried to say that he broke a second window as well because the suite that he booked, it was like a double room suite. And then he just goes to the other window, breaks that window too, and starts pew pew pewing out that window as well. So he just going back and forth between both windows, just running. And mind you, again, this man is 64 years old. Okay, 64 years old. Now, I don't know any 64-year-old that's that like athletic or like that has that much stamina for 11 minutes because that's how long the shots were firing off. It was for 11 minutes. So you mean to tell me for 11 minutes, the 64-year-old man was going back and forth between both windows and just firing off? Yeah, yeah, that's a picture of, so that's pretty much what it would look like. So I couldn't find like any like real motive for him doing something like this because it makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense, but whatever. That's the story that they tried to say. That's what they came up with. And then all of a sudden, after 11 minutes, he just decided he was done and then just, unalived himself. That was it. Nothing else to it. That's it. Oh, also, I forgot to mention Jesus Campo. He's gonna come up later, but Jesus Campo, he was security
He was the
or
security guard
maintenance.
who responded.
Right. He was security who responded to whatever was happening. Apparently, what or did they say the story was? What did they say in the news that the story was that he was coming up to do a door check? I'm pretty sure they said that in the news, right?
I don't
Or no?
remember the reason It just, he was the one who was sent up there to check on the situation, and
Yeah.
because he saw him coming down the hall, he started shooting through the door, I guess, once he knocked or something.
Yeah. So, some funny things that happened while the shooting was going on. First thing, 45, was it 45 minutes? 45 minutes, I'm pretty sure. 45 minutes before the shooting started, there was a report of a woman going around telling everyone that they're going to die. And a young lady said this on the news, and the news lady was like, "Wait, when did this happen?" She was like 45 minutes before the shooting actually started. Like, so this is like way, way before anything happened. This lady's going around telling everyone like, "You're gonna die." It's like, where the heck did she come from? I don't know. We'll get there later. But that was something that was weird that happened. Another thing that happened was that people were saying that the gunshots that were going off were not real, that they were fake. This guy who's standing there, and he's like, these are not real shots. These are fake shots. This is a sound machine. And the girl, she like pans the video and she's like showing the crowd and everyone's squatting down, ducky down, but she's like, I don't see anybody actually hurt.
I feel like if somebody was shot in the crowd, you would get people panicking, or
Right?
somebody who, if you were standing there and someone got shot next to you, I would
Yeah.
imagine more times than not that person's going to freak out, and at least
Yeah.
they're going to be running and tripping, or if they know the person, they're probably going to be like screaming.
Oh yeah, we don't want to get copyrighted. See, if you read the subtitles though, people are saying it's a sound system. You see, she's showing the camera. And look, that guy's just casually sitting there. He's like, it's not a gun. See, no one. No one's injured. Everyone's just squatting down. But no one's actually hurt. And she even pointed the camera at the Mandalay Bay and nothing's coming from there.
Yeah, and if according to, we should have seen muzzle flashes based on
Right.
how many bullets they were saying were fired off, because wasn't it like 2,000 bullets in like 10 minutes? It was something crazy, 500
Yeah.
bullets in 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, like some crazy number within such a short amount of time. Look, people are standing. Look, the security guard is even standing there. He's like, it's no big deal. Nothing's even happening. And then he's on the news acting like it's fake. We don't even know if she was actually injured.
Wait, don't they show her like at another thing? Doesn't she?
Do they show her at anything? Maybe.
I thought there's a video of her like at another thing as a crisis actor.
Oh, maybe. I don't think it's in this video. No.
Oh,
See, but the guy that was look, he was on Tucker Carlson, the guy that was just doing it, and she was on Dr. Phil.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about her. Oh.
Yeah.
See. And then a guy who actually is in the paramedics, he goes around. It can't be shown on this video because it was like graphic, but he goes around to people who are laying on the ground with like blood on them, and he's like, I don't see an exit wound. I don't see an entry wound or exit wound. I don't know how to treat you. He moves on to the next person. He's like, I don't see an entry wound or exit wound. Like you're just laying here. And then these people, this is crazy here.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? You remember there was the video that came out recently. It was that girl. She was on like a podcast and she was talking about how a few years ago there was a video of her and she was saying she was at a concert and she was running, but they had
Mm-hmm.
like took the video and said that she was in like Israel or something, running from while it was getting bombed. And she was like,
Oh,
no, that's not true. Like it was like me and my friend at a concert and we were just running like
yeah.
down the street after the concert.
Yeah. Oh yes. Ian
She made it
Carroll.
up. So you can click it
Yeah.
and it gives you like time and all these different events, and
Right.
there's stuff that seems to be happening all over
Yeah.
Vegas.
Just like everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
Ian
reports from everywhere.
Ian Carroll, he actually was showing this on I think it was a live stream that he did. Um, but I thought that was really interesting. I was like, wow, like someone really took the time to put all this together. Like that's really cool. But oh, I almost skipped over this one. If you go to link number 6, that video was so interesting when I found it because it's just a cab driver. He's just going around doing, his regular job. There's a bunch of cab drivers in Vegas. They're always constantly waiting for their next customer. But he's just driving around doing his rounds. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, but something's happening. I'm hearing something. He drives past a hotel and he's like, hey, you guys know that there's a shooting happening right now? And all of them are just staring at him like he's crazy. And he's like, everyone's just standing here. No one has any sense of urgency or no one's scared or anything. They're all just standing there. And it's so weird. And then he actually ends up capturing something on his phone. So we'll play the video.
Everybody's just standing around. It doesn't seem like anybody's moving. It seems like it's coming.
What happened, driver? What happened? Full shots fired. They don't even know the details yet. I just talked to Metro over here at the airport. They're still getting the details, but there's multiple injuries.
You guys, there's shots fired.
That's all they're telling me. They're not telling me anything other than that. They just said stay away from there. They're shutting the whole place down.
Coming from up there.
Look.
Oh,
you see that? So interesting. Like, wait, I think they said this driver was a woman, and I think I called it a he. Sorry. I don't know. He, she, person. Anyways, this person caught something else on their phone that is way lower than where they said Steven was at. Steven was on the 32nd floor. That looked like it was on like level 6 maybe? It wasn't even that high up. Like you could see it. It was literally right there. Now we're going to go into John Cullen. Now, John Cullen, I found John Cullen on X when he, like his original account and the original documentary, or I guess you would call it a documentary, that he made about all of this that happened. So good. Oh my gosh. Like the original video, like the video that he made, so good. I would highly recommend everyone go watch it because it's so good. Like he just dives so deep into it. He spent years researching this, years going into everything, so many different details. And some of this stuff, I'm like, how the heck did he even find that out? I don't even know. Then we're gonna show kind of where we think, who we think was there and why we think all of this or why he thinks all of this happened. Because Mandalay Bay, the first the top 6 floors. Yeah, the top 6 floors are owned by the Saudi family. So those top 6 floors, those are completely separate from the Mandalay Bay. That is the Four Seasons, a completely different hotel. So they have their own rules and everything going on up there. So that is theirs.
Have been talking about helicopters. And I was like, whoa. Shep is on to what I'm on to. We're watching the same stuff then. If he's talking about, he's clearly watching what I'm watching. So they're talking, this guy calls in. His name is Zach. And I remember this, over 7 years ago, I remember the guy's name is Zach. And he calls in from Pensacola and says, yeah, guys, there was a company on the ground in Vegas called ETS. And ETS is a private military contractor out of Saudi Arabia, like Blackwater. Yeah. It's like a Saudi Blackwater. And they were on the ground in Vegas. And I got goosebumps. And I was like, oh, shit. Red Flag was 2 weeks earlier. It just had Operation Red Flag. The whole Saudi Air Force was at the W Hotel. Mm. ETS is there to guard a VIP. Who was the VIP? Well, Khalid bin Salman, we know, was there. We know we've got photographs and stories that he was visiting Boeing and red flag and all that stuff. They were there.
It's a government contractor. It's effectively ex-military that if they want them to do a job, they don't want it tied to the military.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be guys that have quote unquote retired from special forces, but then they go work for a private security company. So then the government would then go hire this private security company to go, or maybe a corporation or somebody with a lot of money, like billionaire, could hire them for security or to protect an asset, et cetera, et cetera. So something along those lines. So it's like military trained, special forces trained security team.
Because the story was, or what people were speculating was that the target was to try to unalive someone from the Saudi family.
The crown prince.
Yeah, the crown prince. That was the target on that day. But apparently he wasn't even actually there. He was at a different hotel. And they actually show, I think they showed on the news or somewhere, just like security footage of him being escorted out of this other hotel. They were saying that this was like a failed unaliving attempt because I guess maybe somewhere in the process they realized that he wasn't actually there. Actually, John Cullen's his theory is that this is done by helicopters. We're gonna get into a little bit of like what I kind of think most likely happened, because I think that helicopters are a little too obvious, a little too loud. Like you can hear a helicopter coming like miles away. So I feel like that would be a more difficult thing to try to cover up because everybody will be saying that they heard a helicopter. I mean, you wouldn't be able to hide that, especially since everyone is taking video. Like you'll literally hear it on the video. Like that's why I'm kind of like not fully in agreement with it being helicopters, but there were helicopters that were there that were off the radar. Like they were not like, what is it called? Like they were not seen on like the little.
They turned their transponder off.
Yes, that one. They turned their transponder off, and one of them, actually, I saw this somewhere, and I wonder if I have it linked. But one of them actually came through as a Southwest airplane, even though it was not a Southwest airplane. It's a helicopter. But it was showing up on a thing like in disguise as a Southwest airplane. So now we're gonna go on to the next one, because this explains the window. So remember the window. The story was that Stephen broke the window himself, and that's how he propped his little gun up and put a little bump stock on it. I don't even know how bump stocks work, to be honest with you. I don't know how those work. But now John Cullen is going to explain what really happened with the windows and all of that. So we're going to get into this next one.
From the other window? And we see nothing. Nothing. And I've isolated it and, there's nothing coming from the window. Well, then we get the body cam footage from Bitsko. Right, there's only one guy in the room whose body cam is on. We get his body cam footage. The window's not broken. And this guy Brett Brosnahan's an officer. He goes to the window, check the window, pulls the curtain back, and goes, no, it's not. Corey, it's not. It's not broken. And these guys are realizing as they're standing there, nobody says anything. But they're all realizing this guy didn't shoot anybody if the window's not broken.
I was shocked. I was appalled because I was like, wait a minute. That was the whole story, though, that he broke the window. Even while like looking into this, even I actually genuinely believe that he broke the window at some point. If there's no broken window, then there's no shooter, because that was the whole thing. He broke the window because he shot the people. But if he didn't break the window, then he didn't shoot anybody. So there's the officers who breached the room at the top. And then there is the officer's on the ground. And the officer's on the ground, he's like, hey, like, I see a broken window over there and I see people standing in the window. Is that you guys? Like, I see some people. And the officers respond back and he's like, no, we don't have a broken window. And the guy's like, oh, okay, well, you might want to watch out because there appears to be another broken window. And he saw people standing in the broken window. And it's like, wait, who did he see? Now, John Cullen didn't get into that. He mentioned that, but he didn't get into that, which I am like genuinely like, okay, what happened there? Because who did he see in the window?
Well, he doesn't, because he wasn't there, so he can't say specifically, but he does talk about how they know they're in the wrong room and what they do to remedy that later.
We have to break the window because we need this guy to be the shooter. So that's what they did. The officers in the room, they end up breaking the window. And that is the broken window that we end up seeing in like the social media and pictures and everything like that.
Also,
right?
In the body cam footage, when they go into the room, they find it was like folders. There were folders on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
But in the crime scene photos, those folders aren't there.
Right. It's just like, what were in those folders? What were those folders doing there? What happened to Steven? Steven was already unalive when the officers breached the room, not because he unalived himself, but because somebody unalived him while he was in the room. So basically what John Cullen was saying was like, I think Steven got involved with the wrong people. I don't know how he got involved with the wrong people, but somehow he got involved with the wrong people. These people end up coming into his room. They unalive him. Before leaving, his theory is that they prop.
I thought his theory was that basically the Saudis that were there to kill the crown prince were there to buy guns from him.
Right.
They ended up, taking him out and then propping him up with a gun in his hand in the chair so that when the door gets breached, he's sitting there with a rifle or something. And then that's when they open fire because there is audio on the body cam footage.
Right.
The guy says nice shot or good shot or something like that. And then the investigation proceeds where they don't find the broken window. So all of that happens, and then they start going around looking for the room. I believe it's in this interview. He's like, where are all the shells? They shot 500 rounds off. Why is there no shells on the ground?
Breach the room. They see Steven sitting there, propped up on the chair with a rifle. And of course, they immediately shoot because they're like, whoa, he's got a gun. So they shoot. They're the ones that shoot him here, not Steven. Steven did not do that to himself. Because if you look at like photos that they took of him, he was shot here and then he was also shot in his chest. So the bad guys, before the officers breached the room, the bad guys are the ones who shot Steven in the chest. That is what unalived Steven. Then they prop him up on the chair with the gun. Then the officers breach the room, and they're the ones who shoot him in the mouth. And so that's why the officers say nice shot, because obviously it's a headshot. So they're the ones who planted the shells and everything like that, the gun shells. They're the ones who put that there. So they set up this whole thing like it's like they're on set right now, okay? And they need this to be perfect for when the cameras come out. So they're the ones who are setting this all up. They put the gun shells on the floor. They lay Steven on the ground to make it seem like he was just laying there the whole time. They put shells around his body, to decorate the scene. They put a little, I don't know what type of gun it is, but they put some type of gun right above his head to make it look like that's the one that he shot himself with. Okay, so next we're going to move towards the next timestamp. And this one explains the minivan that Stephen had, because he had two cars. He had a minivan and he had the regular, like just like a regular sedan. And so the story was, like the story that was given to us in the news, the reason why Stephen had the minivan was so he can load up all his guns and everything like that into the minivan. But John Cullen, he explains why there really was a minivan.
Yeah. So Stephen Paddock is 64 years old and he's got a minivan and 24 rifles and a bunch of tannerite. I'm like, that sounds like me. He's going out into the desert to go shooting. He's taking 3 or 4 guys. We know he's got 3 women staying with him. Let me finish that video for you guys. So we know he's got 3 women. Katie, Joanne, and Laura are staying with him. But Laura Loomer doesn't know their names, and Alex Jones doesn't know their names. I know their names. Here we go. Let me play this for you.
Right, the 3 women were inside the room, and they redacted their names from the document. And for some reason, not only did they lie about Paddock being alone in the room, but they are hiding who these women are. And I think that we're going to really learn a lot more about what happened in Vegas once we learn the identities of these 3 women.
All right. Okay, so room 135 on the 32nd floor. Registered guest, his last name is Paddock.
There's also 3 females that are registered to that room. First name is Joanne, Joanne. Last name. Second subject, Laura. Last name. Third subject, Katie. Last name. They checked in on 25 September. Scheduled to check out on October 2nd.
Yeah.
He had a minivan because he wasn't alone. He was going shooting with a few other people. Now imagine it's you and other people. Y'all all have what, like, I don't even know how many guns per person. I don't know what people do when they go outdoor shooting and stuff, but I'm assuming you would most likely bring more than 1 gun. So it will make sense to be like, okay, let me rent a minivan so then we can all sit comfortably. We can all have our guns comfortably, and we can go to the shooting range comfortably together. He explains the 3 women that were staying with him at the hotel. But remember, he has a girlfriend. But we're going to go back to that girlfriend in a second, okay? We're going to go back to that girlfriend. I have not forgotten MariLou Danley, okay? I have not forgotten her because she mentioned something that happens, and the news mentioned something that happens with her that is very interesting. But anyways, okay. He's staying with 3 women as well at the hotel. We give the names. Joanne, Katie, and Laura, I'm pretty sure, are the 3 names of the women that are staying at the hotel. Well, now it makes sense why he has like such a big suite, because wouldn't it make sense for just one man to have like a huge suite? I mean, maybe there's somebody out there that's like that, who has the money to afford a big suite and just wants it all to themselves. Maybe. So John actually gets into like who these ladies actually are. They actually worked with the bad guys. Now, not saying that these ladies are bad people. They were just, doing their job. The bad guys told them like, hey, listen, we need you ladies to soften Steven up. We need you to be around him and just and just be there. Like, they have some type of job description to do, and they got paid for it, okay? And so then when things start going down and when the bad guys start coming in, they're like, okay, here's your money. Y'all free to go. Exit the room, please. We got it from here. So that is when one of the ladies goes downstairs into the crowd and lets everyone know, hey, you're all gonna die. She was with Steven. She was one of the 3 ladies that was with Steven. Now, I'm not sure exactly which one she is. She could have been Laura, Joanne, or Katie. She could have been one of those. But one of those three ladies, they went down there, and they were the ones that went down and told that everyone was going to die. Now, I don't think and even John said that he doesn't fully think that they knew exactly what was going on. I think they just maybe they saw the bad guys shoot or unalive Steven. Maybe they witnessed that part. And then after that, they were like, okay, here's your money. You can go now. And so after they witnessed that, they're like, oh my gosh, like, what the heck? And so maybe one of the ladies went down and was like, okay, y'all are gonna die. Okay, this is some crazy stuff happening over there. Now we get back into the window. We get back into the window because then something doesn't add up. And I think this might explain what the officer on the ground saw, because remember, like I said, the officer on the ground reported back to the officers that went up to breach the room that there was a broken window, and he saw some folks standing there and asked if that was them in the window, and they confirmed back that they did not have a broken window. And so in this next timestamp, I think this kind of explains what the officer saw. Maybe John doesn't put the two and two together within the video, but in my head, I'm thinking that this is what the guy saw. So, yeah.
Let's talk about that. There's another room with a broken window. When the hell did that happen? 9:47 p.m. before the gunfire. So the gunfire begins just before 10:05 p.m. It's like 10:04:45 the gunfire starts. This is 9:47 p.m. And this is, fully 15 minutes before all that. And let me play this for you, and I'll walk you through it as we get there.
These receipts you had, it's incredible. Watch this, okay. It's up there.
People start commenting, and they said, dude, that doesn't look like Paddock's room. That looks like it's higher. So I overlay the daytime photo of Mandalay Bay with that footage from nighttime. And I align it, and I tilt it, and I skew it, and I figure out, all right, so where is this happening? Like, is that Paddock's room? So I overlay the daytime image with the nighttime image, and I line up the ridges. And that's the 38th floor.
Is that the Four Seasons or no?
Yes, that's the Four Seasons.
It is.
So where that first window was shot, this was way before the shots started going off. The shots start going off at 10:05. This is at 9:45. And he explains that he knows that this happens at 9:45 because he mentions Maverick. Maverick is just like a tourist helicopter thing. It's just like part of tourism. They do like a little, they show you around in the helicopter and stuff. So he's able to see on like the flight radar thing that Maverick helicopter flies by at the exact same time that window is busted out, which is at 9:45. But that is like, I don't even know how many floors above where Paddock was staying.
6 floors.
That wasn't even his room. That was the Four Seasons. That was not part of Mandalay Bay. Steven stayed at Mandalay Bay. Okay. Now we have to figure out how we're going to do this, because we got this broken window here. We need 132 window to be broken. We can't have that window broken. So John Cullen explains that they can easily have a window fixed. I mean, they have all their stuff in the basement. They could just go downstairs, pick up a fresh window, patch it up there, no problem, no biggie. So now, when the news shares the photos, they're going to share the 132 broken window. So anyway, so that was crazy. So now, we go back to Jesus Campo, okay? So remember Jesus? He was the security guard that went up to the room and then ended up getting shot in a calf. So John Cullen explains why Jesus really went up to the room. So back to Jason Aldean. Jason Aldean is performing, right? His DJ travels with him as he's performing. His DJ's family, like DJ's family, is staying at the Mandalay Bay on the same floor as Steven. What a coincidence. This is why I think Jason Aldean is a little, I don't know, because that is such a coincidence. But how in the world, the DJ's family just so happened to be staying on the same floor as Steven, but whatever. So his family's staying there. The DJ's wife is with him at the concert. They're like, she's down there. Auntie whoever is watching the DJ's baby. DJ's and DJ's wife's baby, okay? So she's up there watching the baby. She steps out of the room for whatever reason. I think John Cullen explained that she was talking to someone else in another room that's like right across the hall. Or she could have been just like, stepping out for whatever reason. The baby's sleeping on the bed. She cracks open the door so she'll be able to hear the baby if it cries or whatever the case may be. She leaves the door cracked open. The security team downstairs, they pick up that on their end. They see that a door is left open. And so that is why they sent Jesus to go up to the floor 132 level to go check out the door. They're like, hey, we got a notification that a door is open. Go check it out. As he's going up to go check on it, remember the baby cams that were put on the food cart thingy? That wasn't done by Steven. That was done by the bad guys. The bad guys are the ones who set up that camera. They see Jesus Campbell coming up on the camera. They're the ones who shoot at him through the door. They shoot at him with nothing too crazy, not a crazy gun. They just shoot at him with just some gun just to get him to go away. And so that's how he gets injured on his calf. And that's when he goes back downstairs. Listening, everyone else knows what happened. And so that is the reason why Jesus went up. He wasn't going up because I think the story was that they tried to say that he went up to go check on Steven's room because a door can't be left closed for more than 12 hours or something with the do not disturb sign on there. You can't have that for more than 12 hours apparently in Vegas, which might be a thing because I know people do crazy things in Vegas. So they might actually need to have that rule put in place to check on their guests every now and then to make sure that they're still alive in there. So that could be a real thing. But that's the story that they said on the news. They said that Jesus went up because a door was left closed for a long period of time and they need to go check on that door. That's not why he went up. He went up because the door was cracked open.
So Jason Aldean, here's this. I remember this as you were saying that. I had to look this up. So
Yeah.
That's not even his actual name. That's his stage name. His name is Jason Aldean Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he changed his name because there was some other guy with the name Williams. Whatever. They told him to change his name. His tattoo. So, can you see that? So it's two cards, a jack and an ace. Now, I played poker for a long time. Typically, when you would do this, the ace would be the first card.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a little bit of a nitpick. So that's his tattoo. Now, it could be because that's his initials, right? J and A, Jason Aldean. But we got to remember that's his stage name. This is a card from the Illuminati card game.
Oh, gosh.
And look, it has Las Vegas, has the jack and the ace, the same suits.
Wow.
I remember everybody talking about this.
Oh, gosh.
And it says, "You control the house," was the first line.
That is crazy.
So.
That is... See,
Could be something, could be nothing.
No, there's something with Jason Aldean. There's something with that man, and we're gonna figure it out one day. But this last clip from John Cullen's interview was about the officer giving that press conference. Yeah, I just think it's funny, so we're just gonna play it.
State conference when Lombardo's almost in tears. He is shaken up. And it's like, what is going on here? Why is he so uncomfortable? And let me play this clip for you. This is my assessment, but I want you guys to see this because this was a big deal. This was the Wednesday after the shooting, and I'll tell you why I think he's so shaken up. But listen to his voice. Listen to how his voice is quavering.
That was a terrible response. So, thank you for being courteous with the mics this time. Well, good evening. Obviously, I'm Sheriff Joe Lombardo with Clark County.
Jeez, he's about to faint.
This has been one of many press conferences we have provided in order to provide the public information that is occurring. And then, so the sequence of these events tonight, I will provide you some. Can we get some help back there?
Oh my God.
I will provide you a sequence of some updates of the investigation as we have moved forward since the last time we spoke to you.
He sounds like he's terrified. He sounds like he's about to pee on himself. Like, that dude sounds shaken up, like he is scared. And John Cullen explains the reason why he thinks that he's acting that way is because the FBI knows that he lied.
The reason he kind of goes into that, and obviously talks about it, but is because he says that the feds were already informed about what happened before they got there.
Oh, yeah.
And he thought that happened because there were rumors that Trump was there. And he says it wasn't Donald Trump, it was a Trump. And he's referring to Ivanka and her husband Jared, who he's involved with a lot of stuff in the Middle East. He's on all sorts of boards, and he's part of the new Gaza peace treaty team and this and that. He is like the guy that is their liaison to all the Middle East teams. So he's thinking that they were there when the shooting happened and when the attempt on the Crown Prince went off. And he made a really good point, which I never thought of, was that Ivanka was a big part of that early administration. And after that, you never saw her again. So he kind of thought that maybe she was like, you know what, it's too dangerous. I don't want to deal with this. I'm out. Because from that point on, we haven't heard from her. She was a part of the Trump team. She was in the White House regularly. She was doing things. So
So we're going to move on to some of the theories that I think is what happened. Because like I said, John Cullen, his idea was that this was helicopters. But I don't think it was helicopters. I think helicopters are just way too loud and way too hard to cover up. So I think that this was something that was actually done more discreetly, and this was possibly done by like drones with like weapons on them and stuff.
That also sometimes took the life of civilians. You have small groups of adversaries. Now, this is a quote. Listen to this. Quote, "You have small groups of adversaries working within crowded civilian areas, using civilians as shields, but you have to go in." It's TCAT vid.
That's crazy.
What if we
Where's
told
the
you
sound?
the future is now? Robots are replacing combat soldiers. Unnecessary casualties.
I said it's crazy that he called this a week out. It was like right after it happened. He knew about this.
Oh, true.
Casualties. Duke Robotics presents TCAD, the future soldier. With TCAD, the future battlefield has arrived. A fully robotic battalion, capable of identification and surgical neutralization of hostiles in the field, can now be deployed to places human soldiers can't reach, or simply shouldn't have to go.
I believe he goes into that even more in the full podcast. And I want to say he even maps out like the Air Force base and everything to where they could have taken off from. And it was like a 5-minute flight over. It's like right behind
Mm-hmm.
the casino and everything. It's pretty interesting.
But here's another reason why I also think it's a drone too. If you play video 9. Yeah, and then I think someone tried to say that it was a collision light. And it's like, does that look like a collision light to you? I think you would call him the chief officer at the time. I'm pretty sure he was the chief, right? This guy that was also oversaw like the Hawaii fires and everything like that.
Like a police chief, yeah.
Yeah. So, first of all, this whole thing is so weird. Okay, so this goes down in Vegas, right? This is 2017. This goes down in Vegas, the shooting and stuff. Biggest mass shooting in America. This dude is the chief police at the time. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? I can't remember his name, but the chief police at the time. It doesn't matter because the link is going to show his name, I'm pretty sure. So he's like, all right, listen, we just had the biggest mass shooting here on the mainland, but I'm finna dip. I'm about to go over to Hawaii. And he moves over there. And then, soon after he moves to Hawaii, the fires happen over there. And he is the one that's overseeing those fires as well. So it's like, well, wait a minute. Why everywhere this man goes, some type of disaster happens?
As he was named the police chief of Maui on December 15th, 2021. The fires happened August 8th, 2023. And then
Unbelievable.
the allegations are from 2018.
Mm-hmm.
March 23rd, 2018. So October 1st, 2017 to March of 2018 is 5 months.
Yep.
6 months.
Crazy. Just involved in back-to-back nonsense. Yeah. Yeah, this guy. Oh yeah, so basically here it goes into what Combs threatened that. So Parham is a young lady, and he goes over, threatens her, and what's his name? Pelletier is with Diddy while he's doing all of this. Okay, he is with Diddy. And then it goes over to.
A man dressed up as a sheriff showed up and
Yeah.
with him.
Yep, it was actually Pelletier. So this guy is weird. He's a weirdo. In conclusion, he's weird. So basically, I guess he had like some coworker or a woman who managed like one of his properties or something like that. And she went on the news too, boo-hoo crying about this as well. Like she was in tears, like in tears. And that if you play link 14, you'll see that one.
Las Vegas shooting overnight, the Strip going dark, marking 1 week since the tragedy. And this morning we're learning more about the shooter's deadly plans and past. A woman who says she worked with the gunman and considered him a friend is now sharing her story. Our senior national correspondent Matt Gutman has more.
This morning, these new images of a smiling Stephen Paddock obtained exclusively by ABC News. Grinning there under his arm is Lisa Crawford, who says she was a property manager in a building he owned in Mesquite, Texas for 6 years.
He cared about everybody's finances. He cared about everybody's cars. He actually cared about people.
Including her. Those pictures show them palling around together with iconic Las Vegas hotels in the background.
We emailed, text. Neither one of us liked talking on the phone.
Crawford, who says she's spoken to police and the FBI about her friendship with Paddock, said he had a goofball sense of humor and was even generous to his tenants.
Now, them pictures, they could have been taken some time ago. But honestly, that woman in that interview didn't look nothing like that lady in the picture. I'm like, who is this lady? when they pulled up the girl, I was like, wait, who is this? She looked different to me. Now, again, it could have been because years has passed, but I mean, I don't think passing years should make someone look completely different. I mean, maybe, but like you would still have, you know, some of those same features of your face where you'll be recognizable. In my personal feeling, she didn't look nothing like that lady in the picture. But whatever. And then she's over here boohoo crying on camera talking about he cared about people, he cared about people's cars, I think she said. It's like what is this lady talking about, first of all? And why is she on camera crying? Where the heck is his girlfriend? MariLou, where you at, sis? Oh, right. Y'all thought I forgot about MariLou. No. MariLou, we're gonna go back to MariLou. Because who the heck is this girl over here boohoo crying over Stephen Paddock? And she only worked with the guy. Now I know she said that they considered friends, but she over here really crying on camera. Where's MariLou? MariLou deleted her social media before it was announced that Stephen Paddock was a shooter. Before. She deleted her social media. Okay, this is before anybody knew that Stephen was the shooter and that we knew that they were together. This is before anyone knew any of that. She deleted her social media. She took down all her pictures. I think first she took down all her pictures, and then she deleted her social media entirely. And then before that, Stephen wired $100,000 to a Philippines bank. What? Got $100,000 and just dipped? What about your man, sis? What about your man? What happened to you were living with this man? Like, well, and then she said, according to her, well, I took it as when he wired me $100,000 that he was breaking up with me or something like that. It's like, okay, so you ain't think to like call or follow up with him or nothing? Like you didn't just like I don't know, like this is just weird. I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. This is so weird. Another weird thing that happened was the 8 victims that mysteriously passed after the shooting happened. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. If there was nothing to the story, if Stephen was the lone shooter and there's nothing else to this, what happened to these people? Why are they mysteriously dead now? A few of them were actually going to go out and tell the public what they saw and what they think happened. And right before they could do that, they're unalived. It's like, okay. And it's weird that one of them, or 2 of them actually, were a couple. And they were driving in a car together, and their car just swerved off the road. And then the next story, Danny Contreras, after being chased by 2 gunmen, what? What? What happened there? What? Who were these 2? Why was he being chased by 2 gunmen? What was that?
People on foot, and that's what the Contreras guy says. Says, I can't believe I got out of the concert. 2 guys were stalking me with guns. So the guys that were stalking with guns were at the concert.
Back to Jason Aldean, which I was trying to tell y'all. Jason Aldean is weird. He was an attorney that was represented at the music festival as well as Jason Aldean. After the massacre and before his death, Alman reportedly told a friend that his meetings with MGM Las Vegas police and the FBI were strange and complex. The lawyer was privy to information which the federal agency didn't disclose publicly.
Yeah, privy.
Oh, is it privy?
Privy, yeah.
Sorry. Oopsies.
Wrap it there. It's already 2.5 hours.
Oh no! We're almost done.
There's still like 7 links in here. So.
Okay, fine. What time is it? Oh, it's 11 o'clock. Okay. Alright, probably do need to wrap it there. Probably do need to end it there. So I guess it needs to be a part 2 to this. Alright. Well, okay. We'll pause here. We'll be back.